Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence. Today I want to talk a little bit about negative people in your life. They're often called toxic people nowadays. And basically what a negative or toxic person is, to break it down, I mean you already have a vague idea, but let's just define it. It's someone that brings you down, someone that makes you feel like dirt, someone that keeps you stressed, someone that keeps you up at night thinking about, right? And none of us like that sort of feeling. You know, that sort of thing where you're lying in bed and you're mulling over the events in your head, wondering if you were in the right or in the wrong, right? And it can be about anything, and you might even feel like you were in the wrong. But at the end of the day, you're thinking about it, right? So let me tell you a couple stories. So first off, we're going to draw it all the way back to 2017. I knew someone who, I brought him into the friend group, and I was really good friends with him. I was best friends with him for about 8-9 years, right? I even defended him against sexual assault allegations because I was just that enamored with him as a buddy, you know? We went out and did so much together, you know, me and him against the world, right? And what ended up happening was, as time went on, he would slowly just sort of take things from me, like mentally. He would wear me energy down. He'd be calling me to go out really late at night and like urgently. This kind of thing, right? He'd be starting dramas between me and various other people all the time, right? And I kind of put it all to one side because, you know, we're buddies and buddies go through hard times together and we stick it through to the very end because we're such good pals, you know? But at the same time, I was constantly up at night, wondering about stuff, wondering if I was in the right or in the wrong. Should I have done this? Should I have done that? You know? And it's all situations caused by the specific individual in mind, right? And fast forward to the year 2023, I find out that he slept with my wife, right? And that kind of activated something in my brain. I had been extremely forgiving, extremely capable of just letting people walk all over me, essentially, before that point, right? I allow people to get away with so much shit, and yet I was so scared to ever piss anyone off, right? It was such give energy, and I was never getting anything back in return, right? And as this sort of went on, I started to realize, right, I'm owed a fucking decent bit of respect as well, because I'm a human being with my own feelings and my own emotions, and those feelings or emotions are entirely valid, right? So I went to his house one final time to pick up some like little things that I sort of left at his house, right? And the entire way there, I was stressing out about the situation. What was I gonna do? I wanted to fucking put like a bit of wire around his neck. That's how much I hated him in that moment. And I realized toxic people want you to feel like this. They want you to feel hatred. They want you to feel bitter. They want you to feel resentment. They want you to think about them. That's all they want. They're not actually interested in you, in whether you feel positive or negative about them. All they care is that they think about you, right? I don't like the term attention seeking, but I think to use it in a sort of basic way, it is a form of attention seeking, right? So I went to his house and I was on the bus and I was really stressing out about the situation. What was I going to do? How was I going to act? I was worried I was going to like lose all my sense of control and just like throttle him, right? And I was talking to a mutual friend, and the mutual friend just sort of said, you know, it would be so much more effective to just be who you are and just be simple and just show your disappointment, because that's going to be so much more cutting. It's going to be so much more effective than any level of anger, because if I give him that energy that he's been giving me, I'm essentially validating what he's putting out into the world as if it's okay because he's getting it back in return. So I went and I didn't shout at him, I didn't swear at him, I simply was very blunt and asked him a few questions that he answered. I don't care if the answers were honest or not. And when I left his house, I made a point to not look back, right? And I haven't talked about him for a very long time. I've tried to shut him out of my mind. As far as I was concerned, he's not dead to me. He never existed to me, right? Which is why I'm not naming him, as much as I would love to name drop him. But that, you see, that's the problem, is they want the attention, right? Maybe he doesn't necessarily want me to be name dropped, but he wants his idea, the idea of who he is, to be out there in the collective in some way. So in a way, even making this video is allowing him to win, right? It's giving him exactly what he wants. And that in and of itself is a problem, because These toxic people will exist no matter what, right? They will always exist, and you can't do anything about them. All you can do is just try and be your best self. Just try and be your most honest and open self, because if you give into their level, you validate the energy that they're putting out into the world, you're validating their negative toxic traits, and it means that they're going to continue to do that into the future. I don't necessarily believe in utmost redemption for these types of people, but if you validate them, they're going to do it so much more and so much more often, right? I hope my actions got them to, reflect a little bit. I don't think they necessarily did. I don't really care whether they did or not. And that's what I'm trying to drill into you here, is I don't want to be thinking about him. I try to never give him any attention. When if he ever comes up on my Instagram or my Facebook or anything like that, just get rid of it. Because, when the whole incident happened where he slept with my wife, it utterly ruined me, right? It made me feel like absolute trash. It made me doubt my very being, right? Who am I as a man, as a husband, What do I give out into the world? Am I this pathetic, And seeing him out there in the world would just make me feel bad in return. And whenever people would talk to me and give me updates on him, it would make me feel bad. And those feelings of badness are allowing him to win. That's the key here. Any attention that you give to these people whatsoever is allowing them to win, right? There's more toxic people out there, for instance. There's one that I know that's in the creative filmmaking sort of space, right? And he uses this sort of enigma of, innocence and he's kind of a little bit clumsy, a little bit like this. He's a little bit of a goofball, And he uses that as a mask. And if he can mask himself, right, that means that he's allowed to get away with really dark and heinous fucking shit. Like stuff that I can't even talk about in this video without facing legal ramifications, because he'll know exactly who I'm talking about if I talk about specifics, right? And if I talk about specifics, guess who I'm allowing to win? Guess who I'm allowing to be in my conscious, on my mind? Guess who I'm allowing to put energy out there into the world because I'm validating that energy, right? And if I sit there and validate that energy, right, I'm never going to move forwards. The green man will never turn on. I'll be stuck at a red light for the rest of my life, right? And that's the last thing that I want. The last thing that I want is to be stuck in one place, because I want to move forwards, and these people don't want you to move forwards. They want you to be stuck in this endless cycle of self-doubt and repetition. They want you to feel like you're less than nothing, because, and in the words of one of these toxic people, you must destroy everyone that is on your level so that they are below you, so that you can rise up to the top, right? He took that as a quote from Donald Trump, who, he's another toxic person. But point aside, right? The thing is that these people will take and take and take and take and take. They'll give nothing in return, and they'll make you feel like shit for ever saying no to them, right? And all you can do is not just push them out of your life, but push them out of your mind. Do you know how satisfying it would have been to throttle him, to put barbed wire around his neck and choke him to death? Right? Do you know how satisfying that would have been for me? Right? And it's what I wanted, but would it have brought me any happiness? Let's take it away from that level of extremity. Let's just say that I exposed him, on this YouTube channel to my fucking subscribers, right? I'm putting that negative energy out into the world. And say I said, this person in particular, right? Even if I said don't go and harass him or whatever, you would anyway, because I know how the internet works, right? But if I put that energy out into the world, that's the energy that I'm going to get back. That is the energy that I'm going to get in return, because I'm sinking down to their level. That's all that they want. And I don't think they necessarily want you to sink down to their level. I think they intrinsically think that everyone is already at their level, and that a superior moral fiber towards our very core is just intrinsically impossible. They don't think that it's possible. They think that everyone out there is as bad as them at the very core. And I know that I'm not that bad of a person. Whether you think that I'm a bad person or not, maybe you have various issues with me. Say if you know me in real life and you think that I've fucked you over in one way or another, right? I'm certainly not any fucking perfect specimen myself, right? However, I try to put positive energy out into the world. I try to not put this toxicity out there, right? I try and spread positivity. And if I'm going to spread negativity, I want it to be constructive for a reason, right? And not just to spread hate, right? And that's why I'm making this video, to basically make you aware of various people in your life that you might already know, that you might be making various excuses for, the same way that I made excuses for my friend that fucked my wife, and for the same excuses for the person that fucked over my early stages of my film career, and for all the fucking negative, nasty people that didn't get a chance to impact my life to such an insanely great degree, and all the people I haven't even mentioned in this video, and perhaps all the people that have fucked over my friends and my family, or even acquaintances, people I've only heard of in the distance, right? I'm telling this to warn you about them, because they will make you think that they're in the right. They will make you think that you're okay. I've seen people, I've spoken to people that I know have abused their children, right? And they seem like lovely people when you talk to them. They seem like lovely people. But you know, if you know the context, it's so easy to see through the manipulation, because everything they do is a manipulative act, right? And all you can do is be alert to it and try and see the signs before you get manipulated yourself. And, you know, watching this video, you might think that, you know, the person that you know isn't actually a manipulative person because X, Y, and Z. My life is so much more complicated that you wouldn't be able to understand it in this way, and you can't apply your situation to mine. No, you can, because you can strip down your complex situation. Because my situation was fucking complex, but I was able to boil it down to, I defended him from sexual assault allegations when I really shouldn't have done, because I think he did it. And 2, he fucked my wife. And the guy that was in the creative sphere, long story that I'm not going to get into right now, right? Because why should I? Why should I put that energy out into the world? And that's the be all and end all of it. These people want your attention, they want your sadness, not necessarily to be reflected onto them, they just want you to be down so that they can destroy you, so that they can rise to the top, because to them, it's all a fucking power game, right? Let me go over there. And that's all it is. It's all just a fucking power game to them. Because people are intrinsically greedy, and narcissistic, and evil, right, as far as they're concerned. And all they can do is just be another pawn in that game. But don't allow them to be like this. Don't allow them to do this. Don't allow them to be the kind of people that they want you to be. Be the person that you want to be. Spread the positivity that you want to spread out into the universe. And don't let anyone distract you from that mission. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you managed to get something out of this. Please tell me the story about the toxic person that's been in your life. Try and get an understanding of it. And I feel as you type it out, you maybe will get some kind of understanding as to what is going on. Because when you type it out into words or you say it out loud, it suddenly makes so much more sense, right? Just don't give them the satisfaction of being on your mind all the time, getting you down, keeping you up at night, because that's all they want. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.